And once you get all that done, you do the same process, but basically in reverse. You're going to take your worm gear, slide it back in the hole. You'll make sure this stays lined up right here, so it goes from there into here. And then get that all lined up right here. And that punches through. Then you want to take your plastic retainer and stick it on like that. That plastic retainer will sit there flush in the circle and come slightly onto this so you know it's in the right spot. And you take your small washer, put your washer on there, like so. Then you take your little clip, put your clip right up on it. And for this part, you're going to need a pair of pliers or something. You take your pliers, you grab it, you put a little pressure and it'll pop up in there. And once that pops back in, your worm gear is back on and it's good to go. And once you get that part done, you want to take your pawl, stick it on in there, and you're going to want to get that lined up with the tracks. Once you get it in there, you want to keep pressure down on it and spin it to make sure it's in the groove. Once it's in the groove, you take your plastic cap. It's got a little tiny washer in there, make sure you don't lose that. Put your cap back on and tighten it down. Don't want to overbear it, but you do want it to be a little tight. So get about hand tight and then just go maybe a quarter of a turn. And your worm gear should be in nice and snug. So then your next step is you're going to go in reverse order from the way you took it apart. So this piece here was the last piece that came off, so it'll be the first piece to go on. So it'll go this gear, slides down and it lines up with this little notch right down in here. You can see that this little piece right here, it's not perfectly round, it's kind of squarish. And so is this piece right down in here. It's kind of squarish right there at the bottom. That's where that piece is going to sit. Nice and flush, that's how you know it's going to be in there. Then you're going to want to take your next little piece, and it's going to slide all the way down on top of that. So then you're going to want to take this piece here, slide it down, and then that's going to be that piece. So next what you want to do, you want to take this little plastic piece here, slide it down right here, but before you drop it down, you actually want to take that brass piece right there where it's grooved in the middle. This end's always going to go down. You take that groove in the middle and stick it in your plastic piece, like so. Then you're going to want to set that down on the post all at one time. If you have to, as you're pushing down, twist it so it'll fall into place. And then that should sit flush. This piece should sit flush with this big brass piece over here. And that'll be your gear. And you want to take your 2 little springs, put your springs on there nice and carefully, and your springs will sit there. And the rest of it's pretty straightforward. We just start backwards from the opposite way we took it off. This is why we lay it out how we lay it out. You want to do that all the way out. And this piece has got to have a keyway on it. It's going to fit in this keyway here and this keyway here. And then whenever you get back to your little washer, you're going to slip that washer on. You're going to do a final inspection, make sure everything is right. And you're going to take your cover, and then you got bearings in there that you can relube, and this bearing here you can relube. You're just going to take your cover, slide it back down until everything is nice and lined up. Try not to turn it on its side so those springs don't pop out. Now you're going to take your screws you took out earlier and put them back in. Make sure you remember which screw you took out and put in which place. If you have to, you can put it on a piece of paper and label it out so you don't forget. Once you got those two nice and tight, then you can come back to the back side. You can place your little screw back in here. Get that one nice and tight. And be careful not to over tighten anything because this is all just plastic. So this piece just slides in this little square. It'll kind of click in. Take that screw. Now remember, you're only screwing into plastic, so it doesn't have to be super tight. Just snug it up. Now once you get all those screws in, you want to take it, lay it back face down like this. And you want to start back with your little line. Take this little cylinder. Cylinder goes on next. That slides all the way down. Give it a little tap until it goes down nice and snug. And you want to take that next little washer, slide it on top, and take your key piece, slide it down. And when you get back to these two little washers, if you put them on like that, it's not going to work. You're going to have to take this one and flip it over because of the way they're bent, they leave a gap. And that gap helps keep tension whenever you tighten your drag down. And that slides down in there until it gets nice and tight. You want to put your handle on. Go ahead and stick the handle, then the washer. Put the washer on. Then you want to stick the handle on. You take the nut. And you want to hold the handle as you tighten this up. You'll start to hear it click. You want to turn it good ways. This is something you're going to have to reset after you do this. That and the drag. Once you get that ran down, tighten it up. Put the little keeper pin or keeper plate, whatever you want to call that, back on. Take that tiny screw, put the tiny screw back in. Once you get that tiny screw back in, then you come back over to your other side where your spool is at. You want to take your spool, and if you don't have any string on it, it works best, but if you do, just wrap it around and get it on there nice and tight. Then you're going to take the long end, stick it down in that hole down in there, while making sure the string stays in the center. It'll slide in just like that. Then the next step is to take the side piece. I'll put it on there sideways, pretty much how it came off. You take this, pull it over, push that back. Now that's locked in. Get this screw all nice and lined up. Then you tighten it up. And there you go. That's how you completely dismantle a Garcia Revo S.